We'll call this meeting to order. If you please rise and join me for a silent invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. At this time, we will take public input. You are allowed up to 5 minutes for public input. Have we got anybody? Go ahead and please come to the podium and state your name for the record. Jake, speak closer. We can't hear you. The mic. That's good. Thank you.
All right. I just want to address the city council regarding the change. The fact that this is not the time of courts for the city council to be this stingy, or to be any way of delaying this process. It's bad enough we have teenagers right now crashing into walls, drinking alcohol, driving vehicles that they may not even have a license. There's a lot better activities that these children can do here in the community of Othello than this. But this is not the time to be this damn selfish when it comes to crimes like this here in town. Now I'm speaking because the 7th and 6th graders can't speak up for themselves when there's a future for them here in the community, jobs, of opportunities, and them having a place to swim. I'm coming here because this is a point where we need to realize, we need to focus on the community and the children and the families that are here. This is not the damn time to be stingy, bitching and whining about 25, 95 cents. To come up here being selfish. When in actuality, this is something that this community has been longing for swimming. There's a lot of activities that students, teachers, classes, even churches can come and enjoy themselves. Learn how to swim so that they won't be in predicaments where they're drowning. Parents are not losing their children because of this. Without the education of them swimming, without the education of them how to save themselves and others, this is a lot more important versus bitching and whining about 25 to 95 cents. If I were a homeowner myself, part of the city council, there'd be no reason to bitch about it. This would be something for the children here in the community. And I wanted to point that out because children, as of right now, they can't speak for themselves. I'm here speaking upon for them. As a civil rights activist, I've been doing this damn thing for 25 years. I'm going to do another 25 years. I don't give a damn how long it takes. But I'm speaking up for the people because I'm all about for the people. I didn't ask for votes to be on the city council, just to be stingy as a homeowner. To be this selfish and not think about the community here for children, for all these other organizations, and youth groups, students and whatnot, and families that they can enjoy. I'm sure there's a lot of veterans out there that would love to get out and enjoy a swimming pool. I'm sure there's veterans that are so entrapped with PTSD that they want to get out. There's probably so many children and adults that want to have a physical activity where they have any chronic pain, illnesses on their feet, arms, legs. that they can exercise. But I don't see the city council bitching and whining about graffiti that's going on. Teenagers crashing into walls in this town. You guys are not flipping open about it. Outraged. I bet you're not losing any sleep over it, aren't you? You're not outraged, you're not pissed. I don't see none of you talking openly about it, even on this side or on this side. This was so damn hardening on you guys would have been up in arms about it, complaining about it, but I don't see you about it. So that's all I wanted to say, and that's the future that I want for the children to have when they graduate out of high school. And I'll be so damned to have a city council to be this damn selfish and stingy over pennies on the damn dollar. Pathetic. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
My name is Dale Wyman. I live at 848 Juniper Street. 2 weeks ago, before this council, we was told, or however you want to present it, that the agreement between Adams County 5 and the city was final. There was no more negotiations. That was presented as a agreement that we're either going to join with Adams County 5 or we're not, we're going to have our own position. At the end of your meeting 2 weeks ago, a council member sent a letter in and said, I will vote against that agreement. Everybody has their own individual opinion, and they should have. However, as a council member, I would like to ask the council member to present his idea of where he's going to get $2.5 to $3 million to buy equipment. Has he got people lined up to be on the fire district, and he's going to do that for less than 90 cents that the agreement is with the county. I think as a council member, it's a leadership that has to be said, I'm going to lead, or I'm going to lead with an idea that is better than the one we have, or accept the one that has been presented. Thank you.
Is there any further public comment? Okay, hearing none, we will go on to roll call. We have Councilmember Garza and Councilwoman Carmona that are absent tonight that have notified us, and we have Councilwoman Camp online with us tonight. So can I get a
I'll make the
motion?
motion to accept the absences of the two. And we have one with us on
Online,
Zoom, which is fine.
okay?
Second.
At a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. Now we'll go on to approval of the agenda.
Second.
Got a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. We'll go on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second.
Got a first and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Okay, we will go on to current business. Item A, public hearing for the 6-year transportation program. Okay, we will now open the public hearing at 609 for the 26th through 2031 6-year transportation improvement plan. Now we can get staff to present.
To present. Each year, we're required to adopt a 6-year transportation improvement program if we would like to go out for funds at the state level to help with those programs, for street projects to be eligible for grants, loans, anything from the state. We have to have this as a resolution that we've accepted this as our transportation plan, and then we submit it to our Quadco, our regional transportation planning organization. There's no impact to our budget with a plan. The budget gets reviewed when we actually take on a project. So these projects are just the next 6 years, what we think we're going to see, and it can be revised yearly. So this is just for the 2026 to 2031, but can be revised next year if we choose to.
Okay. At this time, I will open it for any public testimony. Have we got anybody that would like to speak on the 6-year transportation plan? Okay. Having no public testimony, we will now close it. And does the council have any questions or comments? Okay.
No.
Hearing none, then we will close the public hearing. Now, I need a motion to adopt the resolution for the 26.
I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution adopting the 6-year transportation plan.
Second.
Got a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Tanya, point of order, he did not ask for discussion. We need to do that.
Sorry, Mark. Thank you for the catch. Okay, now we will go into the public hearing declaring surplus of real property. At this time, we will open the public hearing at 6:12 for the purpose of declaring surplus of real property located at 101 East Main Street. Staff will present.
Good evening, Council. So back on July 13th of 2026, I brought forward to the Council the potential of surplusing 101 East Main Street and the adjacent lots. I covered some of the status that it's currently in and the idea of surplusing it for a number of reasons. That the Council discussed it amongst themselves, and the opinion I got back from the Council was that they were interested in the surplusing of 101 East Main Street, also known as the old library, with the adjacent lots. But before we can do that, RCW dictates any property over $50,000 has to have a public hearing, which is why we're having a public hearing today. There's also some other restrictions on when it has to be posted. It's got to be posted within a specific window, and we did all of that. We posted it on our city page, on social media, and in the Columbia Basin Herald. So after the public hearing, we do have a resolution that has been prepared, and if the council so desires, it can be surplused. And the intent of the surplus would be to sell the property, and once it is surplus, the method of sale would be to list it through a brokering agent, preferably here within the city of Othello, to sell it or to place it on the market for sale. That's all I have.
Okay, is there any further staff comments? We will now open it for public testimony. Go ahead and come to the podium.
My name is Buck Carlson. I don't have a problem with the library building itself. I do have a problem with the parking lot across the alley to the north of the library. I mean, a long time ago, there were some businesses across First Street from the library that did something that required, if, to bring it up to current standards, including parking. At the time, the planning commission, council, whatever they decided that they didn't need to require parking for those people because they had a city-owned lot across the street and that people could use that. Then after that, there was a zone created down there where there's no required parking. And my concern is if that lot gets sold, there's gonna be no place to park. I mean, that it gets sold, a building put on there, and no required parking. That's in a zone where there isn't required parking. You're gonna lose that parking. So I do have a problem surplusing that parking lot, but not the building. That's my concern.
Any further public comment? I'm sorry, Dale. We need to have you at the mic so we can all hear.
I couldn't hear exactly what Bob said, but is that going to include the lot behind the bank? That quarter section, does that have to be separate or can it all be done as one?
As for this public hearing, it is included in the
That
process.
is included that lot behind.
Yes.
Behind it.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Any further public comment? Okay, well, now we'll give the staff a chance to respond to public comment. Okay. Okay. At this time, at 6:16, well, let me go on first to, we'll close the public testimony. Do we have any deliberation by the council? Any discussion?
Is that a legitimate point brought up? I'm sure it would devalue the sale of the building if it comes without that parking lot, though.
Yeah, 'cause you sell the building and then you sell that separate or don't do nothing with it, then there's no parking for that building.
So,
I think that's
So
a
it's-
valid concern, removal of public parking for the surrounding businesses. It would impact local traffic and make it unsafe if that parking area was removed.
So I think I want to weigh in a little bit on this. I mean, where that parking lot is, it was used primarily, because I was there a fair amount of time, by a little bit of the folks and most of the people working at the library. I think whoever buys that building for whatever they want to use it for, if they're going to have a viable commercial activity, they have to maintain that parking lot. And I mean, they're not required to, but if you're going to have any sort of activities that have a lot of people come to it, you're going to need that parking area. I would hope you would include it in your business plan when you consider that. No, you don't have to do it, but no, your business can fail too. And I think that the location of that particular parking area doesn't service a lot of people other than the people who would be buying that building. So I think as is, yes, there's a risk that something could change there, but that would be consistent with that entire zone. And it would have to be a pretty small type of business operation in a pretty large building at a significant cost that I don't think would really accommodate that without parking.
So we're under no obligation to provide parking for the businesses across the street.
Nope.
I guess it's a pretty small parking lot, actually. Depending on what it's used for, we have requirements that so many parking lots per square foot of building.
Not in that area.
Not in that area?
No, C1, it's a different zone because It resembles most of the businesses. Most of the businesses don't require parking. So the problem that the business across the street ran into was they did a major redo of the business. And because of that, because of our rules at the time, they were required to add parking in an area where you absolutely couldn't add parking. So that was the problem there. And that was one of the reasons why we changed that to be more consistent across the board with that kind of historical commercial area, so that if somebody decided, for example, let's say like Simmons sold their building to somebody and they wanted to completely remodel the inside of it, well, then they would have to add a parking garage somewhere where there's no ability to add a parking garage. So we didn't think that was really consistent with what the area is. We used a couple of other cities as examples. Probably the closest one is Moses Lake, downtown Moses Lake, which kind of is the historical commercial district. We kind of used what their zoning was like to copy ours. And that's where it came into.
Downtown, that was like.
That down-
They parking. Well, we don't have the capability of adding that kind of
Correct.
parking in that area.
Mhm.
So it's something that needs to be considered strongly for, we have a lot of pedestrian traffic and vehicle traffic at that major intersection.
I think too, what that does though, on that, Councilman Barnes, is it does the type of businesses are going to be somewhat limited to what goes in there. So again, somebody buying that building, if they want to do something grander than the type of businesses that are already there, they have to address they have to address and probably keep that parking. If not, they can't imagine a major business in there that doesn't have parking available being successful.
I just want to make sure we're not a business killer by removing the parking.
Mhm.
Those established businesses there, it'd be terrible for us to assist in killing the business.
Right. I mean, if you're like, for example, let's say like you built that thing into a restaurant, you definitely want to keep that parking because you're not going to be successful without it.
So you're advocating
Keep it as is.
as is parking lot with the building.
Okay. Any further deliberation by the council? Okay, at 6:22, I will close this public hearing. And we will go on, we need to adopt a resolution for the surplus of real property at 10101 East Main Street.
I'll make that motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So that so carries. Okay. Now we'll go on to the facility, approve the facility use agreement for Harvest Hustle.
On October 17th, Pillar Fitness and Les Schwab will host the inaugural Harvest Hustle 5K and 10K run to benefit OSD athletics, with all event proceeds donated to the Othello High School cross-country team. The event setup will be from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Check-in will be at Pillar Fitness. Start and finish line is on East Hemlock Street, just off the Pillar Fitness parking lot. Race begins at 9 a.m. with the event ending at approximately noon. The routes will showcase several areas of the community, including Othello School District facilities, local businesses, and city-owned parks by running through Kiwanis and Lions Park. And they'll be running through those two parks and running by Triangle and Rock Park, providing participants with a positive view of the community while supporting local student athletics. The proposed routes were reviewed with the Public Works Director, Parks and Rec staff, and Police Chief to address traffic, participant safety, and protection of public property. The Othello Police Department will provide traffic assistance at designated Main Street checkpoints. There will be one road closure at the start and finish line on Hemlock from 1st to 4th. Event organizers will provide volunteer flaggers at lower traffic intersections and other locations requiring additional attention. The special event fee is $286.25 with a damage deposit of $541.25. The staff recommends that the City Council approve the facility use agreement of the city property for the Pillar Fitness and Les Schwab Harvest Hustle fundraiser run on Saturday, October 17th.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the facility use agreement.
I motion to
motion.
approve the facility use agreement for the Harvest Hustle.
Okay,
I'll second.
we got a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. Now we will move on to the award, the 2026 crack seal project. Robin.
Okay, so we have to bring any contracts to the city council for approval. On August 20th, the staff opened bids for the crack seal 2026 project. We received 6 bids for the work ranging from $35,875 to $99,129. The engineer's estimate was $74,583. So the lowest bid came in at $38,708 under the engineer's estimate. The lowest responsive bidder for the project was submitted by BCV Incorporated from Wenatchee. The contractor is in good standing with both Department of Revenue and Department of Labor and Industries and is qualified to be awarded a Public Works project. Attached, you found the summary of the bids. The original budget for this project in union with the chip seal project is $600,000 covered by the Transportation Benefit District. This leaves $564,124.58 available for the chip seal project as well. Staff recommends the City Council award the project to BCV Incorporated at the bid amount of $35,875.42.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the crack seal contract.
I'll make the motion to award the crack seal project to BCV Incorporated for the amount of $35,875.42.
Second.
Got a first and second. Any further discussion?
I have a question. What is, this is for a crack seal. What is a chip seal project?
So the crack seal is the rubberized in between the cracks. So they take a wand out and actually do
Yes.
the sealing. The chip seal is when they tar the road and do all the rocks where everybody hates us.
And we're gonna do more of that?
We are.
Oi. That's all I have.
Okay. We got a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. We'll go on to item G, Foxtail Development Agreement.
Okay, so this is kind of preemptive. So RCW 3670B 170 allows the city to enter into a development agreement. I'm not asking to enter into that development agreement tonight. I'm just giving you some information for the forthcoming ask. Foxtail Major Plat is a proposed plat south of the existing Othello School Bus Garage. So this left is north. In planning the development, the sewer connection has come into question. So currently, our city sewer crosses at the railroad tracks at Moon. That's as far as city services go. In order for the plat to be approved, there must be a connection from the plat to the existing sewer. The city in the past has had a design for the sewer main to be an 18-inch PVC main, which the city required the Othello School District to install across the bus garage property when they built there. The sewer needs of the Foxtail Major Plat can be met with a 6-inch force main from a lift station within the plat to the Moon Street manhole. However, the city previously had a design for an 18-inch gravity to Moon Street from the edge of their property down to Moon. So total project construction cost with that 18-inch sewer main from the Platte to Moon Street is $1,086,953.60. And the necessary 6-inch force main is only $483,297.15, with a difference of $603,656.45, which the city would be responsible for if we choose to have them develop with an 18-inch gravity main. Additionally, part of our general sewer plan and previous planning, we had requested that the sewer service to Bench Road continues, and Columbia Northwest Engineering provided 3 alternatives to that extension. Staff looked into our future development, what we see coming down the road, and what is what we would recommend. The recommendation is the median choice with a 12-inch sewer main from the south side of the Platte to Bench Road, which is an additional $552,823.78. And the $68,700.54 would be the city responsibility. So those two numbers would be our total, what the city would need to enter into the development agreement to cover. The sewer fund will eventually be what is how we pay for the upsizing of that sewer main. So there's no motion necessary. This just is informational and time for you to be able to ask questions. The developer and the engineer of record are here if you have further questions.
I need to get orientated on this map.
Right. So
you have a
that
pointer?
yellow line that goes through, there's a dashed line kind of in the, whoa, there you go.
Would this be more
That's
helpful?
easier. So now you're north-south. Perfect. So this is Highway 24. The bus garage is here,
How come I'm not seeing Moon? Is it just further up?
farther up.
Okay. And right now our sewer system goes to Moon?
It is, can you scroll just a little farther? Okay. We have a manhole right here.
So currently the bus garage is on a septic tank out there.
Correct.
Okay.
But we did require them to put an 18-inch main across their property. It was installed incorrectly and the city allowed it. So that's on us. It will have to be replaced. But there is manholes there that would still be usable. And this gives us the opportunity that that commercial district has the opportunity to tie in the, I don't know if it's light industrial or commercial on the east side, also has the opportunity to tie in to this sewer main. So there's already people asking to tie into that, and any future development to the east can tie in as well.
Is anybody hooked up on Moon?
Pegram Construction right here is, and this business is. There are 2 businesses currently. TNT, yeah.
Is that gravity flow or there's?
That's gravity from there. Nope, they're gravity from there.
Okay. Okay. Continue.
So if you scroll up, Spencer. So that's the 18-inch main that we are requesting. And then on the south side, this is where the edge of the development, and then there's an access road that's part of the development, continue to Bench Road. And that's where we would ask that they upsize this to a 12-inch so that it comes into Bench Road a little deeper and it gives us more capacity. So then if we want to enter into agreement with the trailer park down at the corner of 24 and Bench, we could offer services to them or future development along Bench Road.
So that's your interest in going all the way to Bench?
Correct. And it was part of a previous general sewer plan. It's part of this current general sewer plan to continue that.
What's interesting, 15 years ago when I was on council, we talked about sewer system in this part of town. Can you scroll up and identify the bus garage again for me? I want to be
Stop right there.
right there.
Yeah, this right here is bus garage.
And then scroll again down. I'm sorry. So the housing actually abuts the bus garage then?
Yep. Oh, there's a vacant space right here, right? But is that bus garage owned by the school district?
Have you heard the rumor that if you go down 6 feet right there, you hit water?
I have.
And the sewer line's going to be how deep?
Sewer line will be deeper than that.
Does the city have a well down there?
City does have a well. If you scroll down just a little way, there you go. That big space in the middle, that's the well.
And that we want to have a developer place homes in that area.
There's currently a home in that area.
One. Yeah. One.
And this is zoned and all approved for this development? Does that concern you if you hit water at 6 feet and you're trying to put a sewer line in deeper than that?
As we're putting this in, it's PVC instead of concrete. So your
Right.
I&I is less with PVC. Your opportunity for that is lower than the infiltration we've seen farther north along Broadway because that was concrete pipe.
Yeah. You saw it, Doug.
I'm just worried about installation. You're working in theory, you're working in a water hole.
Currently, my understanding is that the water table is not as high.
Okay.
Mr. Pegram, did you want to say something? Come up here to the podium, if you could come to the.
All right, so I'm the one that's the developer. I live in the house down below there. I have a hole right now, 12 foot deep, zero water.
Okay.
Thankfully, we got the pool shut down with all that water.
Yeah.
We checked the water was going to come around and we had chlorine.
Yeah.
So our water table was way down. Install this sewer lines would be effective. Should be very easy.
Do you just have one test hole or have you tried?
I can dig test holes all day long. I've dug them with Hunninger, whatever, on Spokane, with that test holes dug for all that. Yeah, we've been going through this development for 5-6 years now.
Johnson.
Here.
So this route that this is Del Green from your Northwest Engineering. The route that's being chosen is probably the lowest depth sewer main that you're going to get to cover all the property that it's going to benefit, which could include 3 square miles extending all the way up beyond the fairgrounds. So there's a spot just north of the bus garage that we're actually shallow. We're going to fill a little bit when that construction occurs. But like I said, there's going to be a cheaper way to get that kind of sewer capacity at Bench Road than using this line, this path. And one of the reasons that the estimates are what they are is there are components in there for unsuitable soil replacement. If they pull out mud, clay that can't go back in those holes that they're planning on having to swap soils. So.
And I want to go over this again because I wasn't listening, I admit. This will all be gravity flow?
Mm-hmm.
So that's correct, right? Gravity all the way from Bench Road.
So the highlighted path would be gravity flow. The area near
the square where Doyle's or Doug's house is very low. And so we're going to propose up in the upper left-hand corner there, a lift station that will provide localized sewer pumping up and into that into that gravity system to provide sewer service to the rest of the lower portions of the project.
And the city will be responsible for that lift station once it's complete?
Correct.
In discussions that I've had with the city of Moses Lake, the amount of time they spend on each lift station is really minimal. And pump chains are not very onerous. You know, the systems are meant to be easy to deal with.
Does the council have any further questions, comments? Okay. So
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
So is there agreement on going down to the 12-inch, or where is that in relation, since we had this presented a couple of ways?
So it was presented that 3 different ways. There's an 8-inch, you could do an 8-inch from the south end of that development to Bench Road, a 12-inch from that south end, or an 18-inch. So those were the 3 options.
Mhm.
An 18-inch we could do. I just don't think, looking at what originally was taken into that, I don't see that happening in
Right.
the near future. And the way that you would run that, it's an additional lift station. A 12-inch is enough capacity and brings us in low enough without having an additional lift station.
So that's why it's the desirable of the kind of compromise.
Yeah, if you go with the
position.
8-inch, which is cheaper, you'll need a lift station at that first intersection. So then we would have 2 lift stations within this development. So we
Right.
would like to avoid that and go with the 12-inch.
Makes sense.
No further questions or comments? Okay, you will be seeing this again here in the near future on the agenda. Okay. Now we will go on to 2027 budget process committee schedule. Spencer.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor. We are approaching budget season. Actually, internally, we're in budget season. But in lieu of, or because we're heading that way, I want to bring you as council members up to speed on where we're at and what we're doing, and just very high level over these next few months. What does each month look like budget-wise that will allow us to then finally pass the city budget at the end of the year? I put a memo together for you that has a couple of bullet points, and each one of those bullet points looks at a few months, and I just want to look at those very high level with you. Right now we're in August, so my first bullet point is July through September. We'll work with department heads on getting expectations on ending budgets for 26 and projected budget requests for 27 in each expense category. Getting 26 numbers is critical to developing our 27 budget, because that's how we know where we're going to start our 27 year, or at least a best guess. A budget is always a work in progress. It's never done. It's never perfect. It's always a whole series of educated guesses. And for that reason, we look at it just section at a time, very methodically review the budget. We start with the department head level. That's what we're doing right now. Our next step in September, late September, probably the last week of September and the first 2 weeks of October, we'll meet with the council budget committee meetings. And in those meetings, that's where we're going to go through the budget, just a section at a time. We'll have a night where we look at the PD section, and we'll look at street, and we'll look at, all these kinds of things. And we'll hit it piece at a time, have conversations and slowly work our way through it. So that's September and October. In November, that's when we'll bring out all of those conversations together, all of our priorities, and we'll bring all of those conversations together here in the council meeting all together, and we'll start talking about priorities and where we're at, and that'll be November that month. And then the goal is to eventually be able to pass the budget by our first December meeting. Typically, we pass it in our first December meeting, and that'll be our goal this year also. At our next council meeting, I'll put together a first a draft of a council budget committee schedule. And that'll have a list of all those meetings. There's 8, maybe 9, and the date next to each, and the committee members. So I'll list 3 council members next to each one of those sections of the budget. And at our next meeting, we can look through those and we can see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. We can swap dates, swap council members on meetings. We can do whatever works for you. And then at our next meeting, after we've had a chance to digest that, we can settle on a plan, specific meetings that'll work. And then after that, as things arise in your personal lives, we can update the schedule and make changes as we need to. But that's really all I have tonight. My goal is to give you a very high level overview of the next few months, what it looks like, and how we're going to be delving deeper into the details of the budget as we're creating our budget for 27. And it's every year we're always looking for ways to make it better for you as council, better for staff, better as a communication document of priorities to the community. And if there are things, changes that you would like to see in developing our budget, changes in this process, by all means, bring those up, and we can tweak here and there and make the process work for you as council members who are ultimately the ones approving the budget. I want you to be as comfortable with the budget as possible. And that's all I have.
Spencer, going into this?
Question regarding this current budget year is what you predicted as far as taxable intake that matched what you expected.
Our revenues coming in where we thought they would? For the most part, yes. There's one item that we're looking at that the mayor and city administrator and Robin and I have been watching. One of our funds is called a REIT fund, real estate excise tax fund. And those dollars come into their own fund, and they're used for very specific kinds of projects, for capital projects, not for operating expenses of the city. And this year we have a few different capital projects that we decided to fund out of our REIT fund. And we have a couple projects that we're pumping the brakes on for now. The way the revenue comes into that fund typically is pretty even every month. It's just an even amount. Last year, we had a situation where the revenue coming into that fund was way under. It was about June or July, and we thought, oh my gosh, the money isn't coming in as we thought it would. And then all of a sudden in August and September, there were huge allotments that came in from the state. And so maybe there was a backlog or something that wasn't processed all the way through, and it just finally came through in a big chunk. And then we were fine after that. So last year, we all gathered together and we said, well, we've never seen revenue come in like this. Let's pump the brakes for now. Let's make sure we're fine before we go forward with all our projects. This year, oddly enough, we're seeing a similar kind of trend with that revenue. So we have a few things that we're pumping the brakes on. And here, by the last day of August, when we actually get the revenue statements from the state, I think that'll be pretty telling. what our revenue is going to look like for the year. And then hopefully September is we get another big chunk, and then we're fine. Anyway, long story short, that's the one that we're watching, and we're making adjustments to accommodate that. Hopefully it's the same story as last year. And if this is kind of the new way that revenue comes in with REIT, maybe next year, if we see low, then a big bump, that'll be the third year in a row where we're seeing revenues come in like this kind of trend, and we'll get more of a level of comfort with the revenue coming in like that. But right now, this is only the second year of that happening. The first year, I thought it was a fluke. It's weird that it's happening a second year. It's only happened like this these 2 years out of the last 12 or 14 or so that I'm looking at. It's kind of odd, but that's the only one.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, we will go on to unfinished business. Yes, Mark.
There seems to be some confusion about the passing of the pre-annexation agreement. Is that a done deal?
The pre-annexation agreement was approved, but the pre-annexation agreement only covers pretty much
The taxes.
after the April. We've committed to the process of annexation and still working on that. The council still has to approve a resolution to go to the vote of the public on it.
Right.
The pre-annexation agreement covers a lot of it that if the annexation passes or fails, it covers what we do the following 8 months for the process also.
So it's a done deal if we annex.
If we annex, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I was a little misunderstood last time, but in part of this pre-annexation agreement, we are giving the station, the city station down there, the ladder truck, a pretty new pumper that we paid $1 million for, and to the Adams County Fire District. Adams County 5 Fire District, we're giving that to them. These were assets that were 100% funded by city monies. This was not money that was paid to Adams County as part of the agreement and used from that fund, because the agreement was that we paid them for services, but the city had to pay for their own trucks. So I didn't think that was a good deal, that as part of this agreement, we turn over $2 million worth of assets. And I didn't want them to buy it from us, but I thought the commissioners could give us a better deal in lowering monthly service charge. The vote for the annexation is 7 months away. I don't think there was any urgency to approve this. I am disappointed that we didn't take a couple of weeks to review this, and I'm disappointed it was passed without further discussion and possible further negotiations. Make no mistake, I am 100% for annexation. So far, I don't like the path that we're getting there. I don't like that we went from 65 cents to 90 cents, and I don't like that we're giving them $2 million worth of our assets. Also, this should have been explored, I think. Maybe I misunderstood, but part of the agreement on Section 4, debt left one liability. The district shall assume responsibility for the city's left one liability beginning on the effective date. The city's left one liability consists, as far as I know, of a former fire chief and a handful of city police officers. Now, I don't know why the fire district wants to assume responsibility for the police officers, but I'll take it, because that's what the contract says.
I don't think it's assuming the police department.
So there's just one retired firefighter that we have that's left one, and so they'll be assuming the responsibility for the firefighter,
for the
that
one.
one individual.
I'm just going by what the contract says.
Mhm.
Didn't say that the city or the fire chief. It says cities, well, I read what it says, so. And I think that's the kind of stuff that with a 2-week delay, we could have reviewed that kind of stuff. But right now, if I get if this stands as is and I get a bill from a left one policeman, I'm not going to sign it because this says they are going to assume that responsibility. If we want to go back and change that, fine. But as of now, they're assuming that responsibility as per the contract. Have they signed this yet, the commissioners?
All parties have signed it that I am aware of.
That's my position on that
So,
matter.
and I believe they only do that if annexation is approved, I believe, right? Yes. Only if annexation's approved is when they assume the one left employee responsibility.
Well, I hope it gets approved.
So.
And that will help me approve it if I know that they're going to pay the liability for all left one on city employees.
Comment?
Yes.
I wanted to speak on the passage of the initial thing that Councilman Spohr brought forward. We didn't really have, I think, enough time to review that. It was kind of presented at the meeting, but I do want to speak a little bit to that proposal, even though it's been decided. At the moment that I looked at that and what impacted me the most on that in making that decision at that time, with not a whole lot of time to take it in, was the purpose that the city bought all of that equipment for was for firefighting. And it will continue to do that if annexation is passed. So in my opinion, the will of the citizens was being fulfilled with that agreement as is, but I truly appreciate where your sentiment was and what you brought forward on that, because ultimately what you're concerned about is making sure that the city gets what it deserves, and that is to be respected and appreciated. And I really do that, and I wish you would have been here so we could have had that conversation directly. But that's how I kind of saw it, and that's why I landed where I did on that, because I think its intention for the citizens continues on despite who owns it.
Well, 6 of my intelligent colleagues passed this. I've moved on. I'm going to support the annexation 100%.
Okay. Any more unfinished business? Kelly, do you have a comment on it?
I just have a comment on the equipment for fire safety. And I understand we use city funds to buy those, but our city funds come from the city of the people of the city of Othello. The people of the city of Othello bought that equipment, and it should continue to go to the fire protection for the people of the city of Othello. So I have no qualms with that equipment going to Adams County 5 when they take over, officially as if the annex passes, because that belongs to the city, to the people. It doesn't belong to us, not really. The people bought it.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly. Any more unfinished business? Okay, we'll go on to new business.
I have some comments. the new people have only been here working with folks that were here for the last 8 months. I think we should be proud of what we accomplished. We've got a new city administrator, new police chief. We're well on our way to annexation with the fire department. We're making an all-out effort to reopen the pool. Let me, now I call what it's go time. I've been kind of laying in the weeds, because there are some bigger issues, but I'd like to drill down into several issues and have more information disseminated to all council members. And I like have a list, and I'm just threw 5 things together that I think we need to explore further. And we just passed the budget adjustment to pay for the pickleball lights and flagpole project at City Hall. Why is there not a budget adjustment to pay for the increased cost of contracting with Adams County Fire Service, which the contract went from $900,000 a year to $1.2 million a year? The pickleball lights have actually been on at night for the last month. So I think the council should get a brief summary of the upcoming, what is the $22,000 project going to do? Also, I'm not seeing $32,000 worth of issues around the flagpole, so I guess we need a summary tour of that project. We just paid $5,000 for a swamp cooler for the dog shelter. I would like to maybe have council visit that facility, see why we needed that. I don't like hot dogs, but that's amazing to me. We should visit that facility because I've never been there, and I'd like to also get more details around the new dog shelter. The low-hanging fruit, why is the damage deposit $541.25? Why don't we make it an even $500 and simplify things? That's the amount of public works when you rent a meter to use a fire hydrant. And this goes kind of to the issue that what the public sees reflects on us. And so when they see the lights on at the concession stand 24 hours a day, they're like, if you can't do those lights, dusk to dawn, how do you run a business with the city? And lo and behold, thanks to everybody, the lights at the concession stand are not on 24 hours a day now. They're on at dusk and off at dawn. So that's the perception issue. And also another on my list, a member of the public advised that he could not recycle on the weekend. No, this was brought up earlier, but didn't get recycled cardboard, but didn't get a definitive answer on the issue. And so those are the kind of things I'd like to get to. I'm not trying to micromanage, but sometimes I feel like I'm not in the loop and cannot answer questions from my constituents. Feel it is important that items to be discussed at council meeting so we are all on the same page. So that's kind of the direction I would like to see going forward, is get into some more details, and because I think I deserve it to my constituents, and second, I'm just curious.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
So the last council meeting, when the amendment was brought up, I did ask that the public works director provide feedback on those 2 amendment items and the progress by October. So that should be addressed.
Okay. Good. It sounds like we're on the same page.
Councilman Spore, I have also had some concerns about communication. I've talked to a few folks about it, and then I realized that Councilman Barnes and I are on the communications committee, and that since he and I have been communicating a lot about communications, maybe we should formalize it at some point. And I think some of your observations are not restricted just to you on that. There's been a few things that I think we could all do a little bit better and have a little bit more information on to be in the best place to make the best decisions. And maybe we might need to work on identifying a plan to help address some of that. There is actually a vacancy on that committee right now. I think there's supposed to be 3, and there's only 2 people who filled it, so. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
And we should get more involved in the details, I think, with the warrants. The warrants are amazing. Last month, we paid $15,000 to the city of Sunnyside. Do you know why?
No.
Prison services,
Mm.
jail services.
Jail services.
Apparently, we don't have a jail in Adams County, so we ship our prisoners to the city of Sunnyside. Things like that are just amazing to me.
Oh, the warrants. Okay, yeah.
But the warrants are, I do the warrants, and they are enlightening. So, and I see it's good you people have asked for information, and there's a summary of the warrants now attached. So I was, in my accounting background, it was follow the money. I'm done.
Okay. Leave your list with me on some of your stuff, and we'll see if we could answer a few of your questions for you. So, okay, any more new business? Okay, council.
We had, kind of bring up the solid waste, financial.
Okay.
Finance committee meeting.
Yes.
So the mayor and Aaron and I were talking a little bit earlier today about our solid waste rate schedule. This rate schedule is a 3-year schedule that expires at the end of this year. So we need to meet and set rates for the next 3-year period. And so I'd like to set a finance committee meeting, hopefully for later this week, and meet and have a discussion about the rates and the fund and the service, all that kind of stuff. I would propose the finance committee, which is Spohr, Snyder, and Kemp, those 3, with Carmona being our alternate. But is there a time this week that we can meet? Maybe Thursday afternoon? Would that?
I think that works for me.
I'm free on Thursday as well, and I'm also happy
Okay.
to help with the communications committee if we need a third person on that committee.
Okay.
So Thursday at noon, we'll just meet here. Thank you.
Text me.
Sorry?
Text me.
Text you?
I'm old, I'll forget.
Okay.
Okay, any new business anymore? Okay, seeing none, you will also receive a Public Works Engineering Report for July. Of course, now the accounts payables are made on the list, and you'll also receive Building and Planning Report. With no further business, meeting's adjourned. Got it.